I am so excited to interview my next guest. This is a really exciting day. Daniel White, welcome to the live stream.
Thanks, Kary. It's so awesome to be here. I'm really excited about it.
You are a man of many talents. I met you in Strategic Coach. I first heard about you through your clearing work. We'll get into that in a moment. But I was shocked to learn that you also have this amazing financial freedom system. Let's get right into it. You're launching a book, you're launching a journal. What in the world is this all about?
Well, this is my mission is to help people get in touch with their intuition. And I see the stress that people have in their lives around finances. And of course, I had it for myself. I had to go through it myself over 20 years ago. And so I've written a book that combines intuition, which is God talking to you, and it's that voice that you hear in your heart, combining that with finances. So there's no book on the market that has anything to do putting those two together. So
That's so true. I mean, you usually think of people, it's almost like science and faith. Like certain people think certain topics should never go together, religion and politics. Right? Like, but you've blended the two. Why do you think it's so important that you have both?
well, if say someone's trying to pray to God or connect with God, and then but their mind is so full of all the stress around finances, they can't even
Ooh,
connect with their heart. They're full. Their head is so full of all this
wow.
craziness that's going on in their life with the budgets, the markets, the everything, that I want to get people below the neck into their heart so they can run their whole life with freedom, feeling that incredible peace. So it's most people spend money for the dopamine hit, right? Because of all the stress.
Yes,
I
yes,
want
that's
to
true.
bring I want to bring people out of dopamine into peace in their heart. So dropping below the neck and getting into the heart.
I love that. I love that. Listen, we're going to get into some serious stuff today, folks. By the way, you got to see at the top right here, we have the financial freedom system. And watch this, watch this. Boom, there's the journal. So you have this companion as well. Listen, what's the big goal behind this? And why did you need a book and a journal?
Well, the goal is the big goal is to have 50,000 people running the system for 3 years continuously.
Wow.
That's pretty massive because that's going to have a ripple effect. I've been working with clients for 20 years teaching this system. And it's like, okay, now how can I get that ripple going out more and more? And once we get the 50,000 people, of course, we want 50,000 families. And can you imagine if you have 50,000 families in a community, the impact they have? And I've seen it in businesses that run with the system, where all the staff members are running the system or families are running the system, how much effect it has on others. So the idea behind the journal with the book is that there's something tangible that can people write down their progress, write down their results, right? So they can refer back when all the stresses of life come to them as they're going through the process. They've got something to refer back to. And this is really important because as you start to follow the process and start to transform your unconscious behaviors around money and bring you down below the neck so you feel that peace, once you have that, you get triggered obviously from life, and so you want to have that reference point going back to the journal to keep you on track. So, and then
So good.
in the
Good.
future there'll be workshops to complement the journal, live as well as on Zoom, to help people to really grow with the process.
Yeah, you got this fantastic website, and it's essentially Daniel White Coaching. Let's show people a little bit about that. Let's walk them through this. But you have a lot of things that you are doing, and what's up about this? What's your goal here?
Well, but you mean with the Daniel White coaching is to
Yeah,
actually
Daniel White Coaching.
reach the people. I have a bigger goal beyond this where there's 8 books. We learn in Strategic Coach about what are the major mindsets that our unique ability is contributing to the world. And when I wrote the 8 mindsets out, I looked at 30 years of working with clients, what were the main keys that really helped transform people's lives? And this book is the first one of the 8 books that will be coming out.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I first heard about you, man. First of all, you're a man of many talents. So, folks, he was training for the Australian Olympic team. Okay, so get out your pen and notebook here. Well, you got to check this out. You controlled everything with your preparation. I mean, you had food, training, all this stuff down,
Sleep,
and then
heart rate, everything
sleep.
controlled.
And
Yeah.
then what happened a week before the Olympic trials?
Well, just to go on that, what I noticed is that the only variable in my training was my environment. When I went to staying, which hotel room I slept in before a race, and I started to notice how that would affect my performance. And I thought, this is
Ooh.
crazy. I have so much control in my life, and yet this one factor was interrupting my progress. So I started to look deeper into how can we change ourselves so that our environment doesn't affect us. So
This
that
is big, folks. This is really big. I'm sure I'm going to ask the crowd. Have you ever walked into a setting? Could have been an old house, could have been whatever, a place in the city, drove by it, walked into it, but you felt in your gut, in your spirit, unease. I can tell you, Daniel, that we have that Shawshank prison near our house. When a bunch of years ago, when my daughter was very young, I took her there, because we just wanted to show them the old prison, and they have haunted tours there. And like my daughter did not feel comfortable. And I mean, we didn't even take her to the haunted tour. Of course we wouldn't do that. But I'm just talking like just to tour it. Like, why is that true that places can affect energy?
Well, not only spirits being haunting a place, but also the energy build up from people uh, over time, over history. I mean, everyone understands the story, or you sit in grandpa's chair, you just feel there's someone else sitting there. There's no spirit, it's just his essence or his energy that he's left there for, all the years of sitting in that one chair. So it's the same with you walk into a certain building. And with my work clearing buildings, it's like, okay, there's a business that's struggling, and then we go in and do the clearing. We find out there was a previous business in the building that went bankrupt. And that energy is still lingering, even though they've done all the renovations, they've done everything like that. It's still lingering. Or not,
Wow.
we work a lot with entrepreneurs, and I went to this one company that was moving into a new building, moving into a new premises for them, but it used to be a government office, and the energy in the whole office that they were moving into was competition and arrogance. And that was completely opposite to their whole thing about collaboration and teamwork. So the energy in the building was,
It wasn't a match.
it wasn't a match. So we had to clear all the old energy out from that building. And interesting enough, there was 9 floors in this building, and they were the only entrepreneurial company that brought me in. All the other entrepreneurial companies that took over the other floors didn't bring me in. Everyone else went bankrupt except my company. They were still there because
Listen, you got somebody right here. I like to clear the energy in my house once a month. I know this is a little bit woo-woo for some people, but I know you have a strong faith. And I know that you basically, I mean, even some of your work, I'm here in Columbus, some of your work with Lisa Sinney at a mansion where she purchased it, a very old mansion. And this is on Amazon Prime, folks. If you go to Amazon Prime, you can watch this 6-episode series where Daniel White is clearing the energy in a house. What was that experience about? And again, I know we're talking about your book, Financial Freedom, but you're saying that a lot of these people, watchers, readers, they might have space of financial bankruptcy and poverty that is energy. And your book also addresses that. So this is the context.
Yeah. So the whole point is to build up your inner strength so that whatever's happening in your environment doesn't affect your prosperity.
Ooh, that's good.
As you build up that inner strength and that connection with God through your intuition, your heart, you will know what building to go to, what home to purchase, where to rent. You will know because you'll be drawn to it because you have that financial foundation with your intuition. And so it
Wow.
guides you.
It's
It
all
doesn't,
connected.
you don't buy, it's like going, everyone knows you go shopping, then suddenly the salesperson sells you 3 different clothes. You take them home and you just, I'm not interested in these, because you didn't have the financial foundation in yourself to say no to their approaches. They're selling you these clothes that you don't actually want and don't fit you or whatever, they're not a match for you.
Wow.
So
Why?
changing your inner strength, your inner foundation, so that when you're drawn to what to buy versus being confused what to buy and let someone else control you. So you actually become you become the boss of your money, you become the boss of your life through your connection with God, through your intuition, through your heart.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So listen,
Same as buying a car or buying moving to a new home, same thing.
but wow. We say this about people, all the time. Like, hey, that guy's giving me a bad vibe, or that person feels like there's something I can't trust about that person. So why do we not listen to God speaking to us, or the intuition? Why, whether it's finances, relationship, physical objects, why do we kind of doubt everything?
Because we don't have a foundation within ourselves.
And that's what the book's about, the
That's what
foundation.
I'm building, helping you to build your own foundation within you, because everyone has the intuition or the gut instinct, but they don't have the power, the foundation to take action on it. That's the problem.
Mm,
Everyone knows, I should have done that. I wish I'd done that. Like you already
afterward.
knew afterwards, instead of because you didn't have the power within yourself, the foundation within yourself to say, oh, this doesn't work for me. There's
What's
nothing
interesting?
wrong, but it's just
So,
not the right
wow,
fit for you. That's it.
this is amazing. I was just talking with Sarah, the president of our company. We had this one lead recently that kept, whatever, kept pursuing us. And we both feel in our gut that, like, this is not someone we should pursue. Like, and she felt it, I felt it, but this is amazing. Let's even talk about, Tanisha dropped one of your links, but I want to basically talk about this link. You recently changed your name. So
Yeah.
some people might be watching this. It's by the way, Tanisha, it's no longer KimWhiteCoaching.com. It's DanielWhiteCoaching.com.
Okay.
And
KimWhiteCoaching.com still exists. This is
right,
an
but
entry
talk to us.
level program for people who are just starting out with a spiritual journey or clearings or want to build up their own foundations in themselves. Daniel White is the big picture, the big program.
This is amazing, folks. And I don't know, Daniel, you might know this or not, but I wrote a book called Your Secret Name. But I truly believe that identity is huge. I met you in Chicago. Not met you, but I saw you in Chicago last month, 2 months ago. You were so happy. You were so excited. And you had a new name tag that said Daniel. And I'm like, okay, what's
happened?
going on? Everybody knows you as Kim White. What's going on? Tell us the story, because I think that even relates
Yeah, it's
to
very
this
important.
book.
The Daniel is actually my middle name. Okay. And it's also my father's name, my grandfather's name, my great-great-grandfather's name. But my mum, when I was born, didn't want another junior in the family. So she made sure that my first name was not Daniel and allowed my second name to be Daniel. And all my life, I've wanted to be called Daniel since I was a little boy. So, I figured, well, I'm old enough, I can make my own decision, right?
Yeah.
So, but what the history of that name, I mean, Daniel means God is my judge as a background.
God is my judge. And
Right?
it's a book in the Bible. It's a powerful
Yeah.
character. Wow.
And also Daniel, when I look at the history of my family, all the Daniels in my family were extremely successful. Like the first Daniel that I'm aware of, my great-great-grandfather, he moved to Australia from Ireland, and he set up the #1 coach building company in the whole country.
Oh my gosh.
So that's before cars were around. So he built this whole company, took over the whole the country with his industry, and then when the gold rush hit in the late 1890s in Australia, his son, who was building also. He became very successful in the hospitality and the hotel industry, owning lots of
Okay.
hotels. And then my grandfather was the #1 pharmacist in my hometown in Perth, Australia. And then my father
Wow.
was one of the best photographers in the state. So there's a history with that name. So
Wait,
it's
so
just
this
the
is
right
amazing. So what did the new name mean to you? Because I saw you, it was like a different energy. Let's just
fit.
say it. It was a different energy. Why? I know you always wanted to be it as a kid, but like, let's talk about feelings. What does the new name mean?
When I use my new name, well, it is my name. It's just I use my second name instead of my first name. I feel stronger. I
Ooh,
feel able to deliver more. I'm able to contribute more with that strength. Uh,
wow.
really. So I notice myself how different I am when I'm Daniel White. Even my voice is deeper than when I'm Kim White. Right? There's a change in the energy. It's not as grounded with Kim White versus Daniel White. It's very clear, and people responding to it as well.
You know why I like this? I like this because, folks, a lot of you are coaches who are watching this. A lot of you are authors. A lot of you are entrepreneurs. Daniel's modeling the way. Did you catch that? He's modeling the way. He's writing a book called The Financial Freedom Journal of Financial Freedom book, but he's modeling the way of saying, look, I'm going to take, you use the word boss. I'm going to be the boss of my life
Mhm.
and not let my mother, as great as she was, and her hang up be brought into my new future.
Yeah,
How
she was
important is that?
protecting me. She was protecting me, but it was great as a child, but I don't need it anymore. And
Wow.
myself, right? So,
And
and also
now
this
that
is
you
super
did this,
important about this, what you said about being the boss, because who's the boss of your money? Are you the boss of the money, or is the money the boss of you? Money is just a
mm,
tool for exchange of energy. Exchanging what you work, you use it to buy food, clothing, shelter, and so forth, and life experience. It's only a tool. But in our society, because people don't have this foundation, the tool becomes stronger than you. And that's what I'm all about, changing that so you become stronger than the money, so that you can be in charge.
I
And
look
that
at
will
this.
have a ripple. It has such a ripple effect. Kary, some of the stories of people that give me back who've done the financial freedom system, where they've lost weight. Like one family, they said, it's what the husband calls me. He was doing the foundation for the whole family. Each person in the family wasn't doing their own. So he was holding the energy for the whole family. And he calls me, he says, "You won't believe this. This is going to sound really crazy, but it's been a couple of months since I've been doing the system. And I'm only emptying the trash in my kitchen once a week, whereas before it was always twice a week. He'd take the rubbish out. It was his duty. And the family started losing weight because the stress levels went so far down, they didn't need the food to cover up the stress. So their consumption went down, which of course means their spending went down. That they had so much more surplus
Wow.
because of it. That's a
It's
great
all
story
connected.
example.
It's all connected.
Another one was a gentleman who he had a very successful business, but he could never find a girlfriend. No one was interested in him. He didn't have a financial foundation. He was successful in business, but it was all from above the neck. Once he started the process, he started coming down to the neck. He became attractive to women because they could feel his foundation, they could feel his stability. Whereas before, they just saw the dollars, they didn't see the stability. They couldn't sense or feel the stability.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
happily married with children, everything. Like his whole life transformed. Another client who was a multimillionaire, he didn't need money. He could buy planes with his pocket change. He was so wealthy. He started the process with such a small amount of money depositing each week that it was crazy. But the result, he didn't need money. The results he got was his stress went down. And
Mm.
you'll be interested in this, Kary. The reason is he inherited that wealth. He didn't build it himself. So by doing the
Ah,
financial freedom system, he built his foundation for wealth, and his business has exploded after that. It was
wow. So it was almost like the inherited money was um a weakness
In a way,
that
yeah.
yeah, that because it was like a false confidence. He didn't feel in his identity that he earned it, was worth it. It was almost like this shell, perhaps, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I remember him telling me when he was 19, he suddenly said, "I'm a billionaire. What do I do?" You know, he was a college student and suddenly he got inherited $1 billion. And it's like, holy crap, you know? But he had to build himself up. So you can imagine 19-year-old kid inheriting that sort of money. It's like, what do you do with it? How do you do it? How do you deal
Wow.
with it? Because it's, and you know, you hear the stories all the time of all the celebrities or sports stars who are
They lose it.
they lose it because they have no foundation. They've just
Wow.
lived on their sport or their acting skills or performance skills to ride them, but they had no foundation with money. And so
And
there's
then they get injured or they get, overlooked and their identity is crushed.
yes,
Yeah.
because they big and people whenever you have money and you're not the boss of money, there's a lot of takers around you. They want to take
Mm.
through advertising or media or friends or family. They want a piece of it because
Wow.
of the consciousness. And that comes back to that environment thing. How do you transform the environment? Start from deep within yourself and expand out. And then your environment starts to change. It's really cool.
This is quite incredible. So, I know now why you want 50,000 individuals and then 50,000 family members. What's your next step, Daniel? I know, like, the name change, I know the energy clearing, you're a 2-book author, but you have even more books beyond that. What's your bigger future?
So basically, setting up a system for people to have support because
Mm,
it's great reading a book, but you've got to take action. So we're in the process now of building a system where people can take action on what they learn in the book instead of it just collecting dust on the shelf. We want their action. That's where we're going to set up the system so we can build the 50,000 people,
wow.
transform 50,000 lives. And once they start transforming, as your energy, and the reason I say 3 years, people start getting results within 2 to 3 months, like massive changes in their life. But the 3 years consistency, you go past the point where your energy, the foundation leaves your physical body, it goes outside your energy field and starts to impact your whole life and the people around you, your environment. So you become the domino that affects other people's lives.
I believe this. I'll tell you why I believe you, Daniel. First of all, I know you. I've seen your work. I remember last month when I saw you, there was a gentleman who just came up to you and said, "Hey, thanks so much for going in and clearing my hotel room." Remember this?
Yes.
Before the workshop. And the guy said, "I've never felt this light before." But I mean, you're just that type of guy. Like, okay, so I know I'm going off on a tangent, but what was that all about? You saw this guy in need and you cleared his room and it's all connected and he was able to learn more at the workshop and grow more and how is
So,
this all happening?
well, you think how many people sleep in a hotel room? All the energies, the buildup of energy in the room over years and years. So, and doesn't matter how much lipstick you put on a hotel, it still has the energy. You can do all the renovations you want, but the energy is still there. So,
Wow.
my intuition said, go and help him now. He needs this for the next couple of days in his workshops. So, yeah, we went and did it.
That's amazing.
And I
Another
actually took him through a process of before and after. So he went in the room on his own. He was just checking in. He went in on his own. He felt the room. I stayed outside. Then he came out and explained what he felt, how his body was reacting, how he felt in the room, how his mind was, and so forth. Then I went in, did my magic, did God's work in the room. And he came back in and he was like, wow, wow, like he could feel his whole body relax. I was I was creating the environment to give him the best results for him over the next couple of days in his workshops.
and
So
this all happened initially with you not making the Olympic trials because you started to put pieces together and God started to show you that it had to
yes,
deal with where you were sleeping and the
yes.
energy. Wow.
And then with this process that I developed, I just celebrated my 5th year of business. I was super excited because I made 5 years. It's not very common that people make 5 years. However, I had so much debt from the first 5 years of building the business. So I was stressed, financially stressed, and always wondering, where can I? So it was the 5th anniversary, was the end of April. I spent the whole of May thinking of different brainwaves, different brainstorming of how I could make more money to get rid of the debt and all this sort of stuff. And then at the end of May, I'm like, why don't I just talk to God, right? So I prayed and asked God, what do I do here? And God, all he showed me was put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help others. The airline drill.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, and it immediately was so clear. I've been paying all my debts, paying my rent, paying my car, paying, all the expenses before I even pay myself. And then he showed me what to do, to put some money into an account, build a foundation account externally, like going to a bank. That's how it all began. And then I started and I just kept doing it. And I remember the first day I was going into the bank, I had my bag of money because I knew I had to have the money. I couldn't just go to the ATM and get it, right? It was intuitively, I knew to do that. I went out, I was shaking. It was $35. I mean, it was nothing, but I was shaking. And I was like, okay, I'll put the money down. And that was back in the days when they made like deposit books. So they pulled out the book and gave me as soon as I had the deposit book in my hand, all my stress went down.
Wow.
And then I said, oh, this is huge. I feel something change in my body now with this action. And then I went outside, I went outside and lying on the pavement was $20.
No.
I'm looking up and down the street. There's no one there. I'm like, oh, this is too much, right? It's like, okay, God.
I love it.
So yeah, that's how it all began. And then I just kept doing it. And I learned a lot. I spent the next 10 years really refining it. And when the financial crisis hit in 2008, I had to develop my clients and saying, hey, don't trust the banks. Can you help find another system to help me? So I developed the jar principle, which is in the book as well, and how you can do it at home. You don't have to actually go to the bank. So, and then with the journal is great because you're recording the whole journey. So you have a written record of your journey, your experiences, your emotions, the changes that are happening in your life as you're going through the process. It's very cool.
Folks, I've never seen anything like this on the planet. I mean, we've all heard of, Financial Peace, Dave Ramsey and Susie and all these people, but I've never heard someone talk about finances in this way, how it's connected to everything else that's unseen. But it makes a ton of sense. Absolutely. Daniel, I know people can go to danielwhitecoaching.com. I know they can go to Amazon, get the journal, also the book. But you blessed us all today, and people are tagging. This is going out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. It's going out all over. So we want to help
spread
you.
the word. Let's get 50,000 people transforming lives, building their inner foundation so their whole life transforms. And then they can help all the people around them.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for being a model to us, a student, someone who walks the path. And I'll probably see you at our next workshop together.
We will. Look forward to it. Thank you so much, Kary. It's wonderful to be here today. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Thanks for adding value to everybody. So, folks, go ahead, get that book. It is absolutely worth it. I mean, again, he can help you break generational lies about finances and about your, I love that. Be the boss of your money. Thanks so much, Daniel.
Please let us know, send me an email with the changes that you're noticing so we can share with others and help them.
Oh, I love that. I love that. All right.